first off, before we start talking about the latest, rumors and things that Doomcock has heard and how they kind of fit into the logical progression of what's going on with Lucasfilm, I would like to wish Harrison Ford a very happy 79th birthday. I've seen video of James Mangold up in Glasgow. Glasgow is standing in for New York City. Apparently, it looks like what I've seen, there are a lot of cool old late 1960s cars. Great like banners and signs, and it looks great. But the video has them striding along, going over to what looks like an underground, an entrance to what we would call a subway, and I am pumped. Hey, Dave. So yeah, and of course I think Harrison Ford's up there already. Anyway, so and after I'm done, I'm going to make some meatballs, and I'm going to make my husband spaghetti or pasta and meatballs. I don't know. Anyway, I've got a good recipe, and I'm going to do some more stuff. Hey, Vader fan, Fit for Life. So, without further ado, Doomcock had today, while he was talking, that a news source told him, house, go to your house. I have to put the dog in the house. Go on, buddy, good boy. This is due to the fact that if I don't, he'll get into something and I'll get really mad. I mean, like, really mad. Anyway, news source basically told him that first off and foremost, the Atlantic article basically came right out of the Bob's office. Okay. And it basically said exactly what Cameron and Andre and Doomcock himself said, that, Kennedy is not just gonna, be frog marched out. I know as many of you guys want to see that, and I would love to see that myself. It ain't gonna happen. But what is gonna happen is she's done. And, when Indiana Jones 5 is done, that, it's over. And from what I can gather, despite the naysayers who want to act like they know what Jon Favreau's like, and I love it how fans just assume that they know somebody. And I mean, I have an actor that I just love, and he's married to a woman who is completely wrong, in my opinion, for him. But since I don't know him and I don't know her, I can't really say anything. Like, I know, all right? But if I'd have been there the night they met, I would have looked at him and I said, run for your life. That way. Go. Go. I get a bad feeling about her. I don't know why. Anyway, so we'll go on. And anyway, so yeah, so that story came out from the Bobs, just like I think the Forbes story came out from the Bobs, especially Chapek, just like I think the Variety story came out from the Bobs. But I also have a feeling, because he has a huge financial investment in stocks in Disney as per the sale of Lucasfilm, I think Lucas had something to do with it. Now, they went into a little bit about Indiana Jones 5 and basically the person, which is kind of funny because I don't think this part's true. And I really don't need to have. I think here's the deal. I think some of these people put stuff out there that is real, and some of it isn't. And this is where I think it kind of goes off the rails. And Steven Spielberg really didn't leave Indy 5. He is still executive producer. Okay, so he's not really that gone. And he can still say, jump in and go, wait a minute. I do believe that he'll never work with Kathleen Kennedy again. Oh, I do too, Troy. I do believe that, but I don't think it's because she wants to give the fedora to some bitch. I think it is. All right, bear with me, and you guys know the story if you've been watching me long enough. Who didn't show up at the Rise of Skywalker premiere? Who's been to every fucking premiere since they started doing Star Wars? Or since Disney bought Star Wars? George Lucas. And he didn't show up to Tross. Why? Because I don't give a flying, hey Trayla, hey everybody in the chat. I don't give a flying rat's furry ass, okay, if what certain people say from certain bigger channels. J.J. Abrams, because this is a story I heard in 2018, that they were flying writers out, that they were editing on the run, and that George Lucas was heavily involved. And when Abrams showed up in 2019 with that rough cut of what they filmed, Kennedy had a cow. Again, and this is for anybody who wants to totally just blame the Bobs. It wasn't them that ordered 40% reshoots of The Rise of Skywalker. It was Kennedy. She saw what they did, and with the story that Doomcock talked about last year was one of the money guys, and I'm gonna say it was somebody from Vanguard or State Street, or BlackRock. One of the really big. I mean, BlackRock's the biggest hedge fund in the world. One of those guys shows up and wants to say, "What are you doing? You drop everything and you kiss their ass, and then you kiss it again, and then you kiss it again, and you kiss it again, and you kiss it again." So the story that Doomcock told, which I believe, was he was at Skywalker Ranch, asked, I've heard that there's a Lucas Abrams cut. I want to see it if it's real. And the guy said, yes, there is. And they sat him down and they showed it to him. Now, you got to understand, every movie has a cut like this, and then it has to go through editing and post-production, which means special effects and sound and a movie's not done filming when the final wrap on principal photography ends. Even a movie with absolutely no special effects. And when the guy walked out, because even the rough, cut was good. Yeah, an assembly cut. It was better than what they put up on the screen. So afterwards, Kennedy was asked to show up with all of her projects to a meeting with the money people. Money people meaning people maybe from BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, Merrill Lynch, Goldman Sachs, la la la. Okay, all right. It doesn't surprise me. Okay, look, that woman, if she didn't see her end was nigh, then she's a fucking idiot. Okay, she's a fucking idiot, but we all know that. So my opinion is, after The Rise of Skywalker came out and George didn't appear, and then, what was it, like in January or February of, was it last year, Spielberg said, I don't want to direct this, and I'm not, I'm not going to be, I'm going to just go into executive producer mode. He can't walk away from Indiana Jones. This is one of his babies. This is one of his big franchises. But I think the reason why I walked away was because of what Kennedy said and what Kennedy did to George and what happened with George. And a lot of people want to blame Iger, and I blame Iger to a certain extent. But This is all Kennedy. Okay. She is the one that ordered those 40% reshoots. She is the one that ordered that fucking kiss so they could kiss the Raylo's ass because she's the biggest fucking Raylo out there. Let me explain something. This is a woman who's never had a son. Okay. So she doesn't know what it's like. She doesn't have any men in her life except for Frank. All right. So she doesn't understand. She doesn't get it. I mean, her focus is on girls because that's what they have. That's what she had is two girls. She's got a very fucked up view of the world. And she was the one that ordered the Twilight bullshit and everything else. She saw Matt Smith as now in the last Reddit leak that the leaker from her thing dumped. And I wouldn't doubt that leaker was somebody maybe in the story group somewhere. Basically, they blamed Alan Horn and the Suits for the failure of the sequel trilogy. Here's the problem. They got everything they fucking wanted. They got drunk deadbeat dad Han Solo, check. Loser Luke, check. They got whatever Leia was fucking supposed to be, check. They basically took every OT character, right down to even Admiral Akbar, and destroyed them. Because they were trying to rewrite everything. Overwrite all of it. They got everything they wanted. Their woke, fempower bullshit. Okay? And it failed because of it. Now, if you go to that second leak that I talked about, where they're throwing Alan Horn under the bus, Alan Horn was against all of it. Okay? Not his fault, this sucked. If you'd have listened to him, it might not have sucked. Okay? And he was the one, and I hate to say this, but he was the one saying, we can't have a black Jedi. Now, back during the prequel era, it didn't matter. Because no one gave a... Back then, it was still free Tibet. No one gave a fuck. Okay? We had Samuel L. Jackson. No one gave a fuck. OT era, Lando. Okay, no one gave a fuck. Now we got Chinese, racists running around. And I gotta say, he might have had a point. Spare, John Boyega even being in the movie if he can't, if the character's gonna be abused like, some Uncle Tom on a plantation, which is what they did. So, and that's why they diminished his character. Okay. But that's not the point. The point was Horn wanted the characters to look like the original trilogy. He wanted it to follow a more narrative, traditional thing. And they didn't want to, And it's really interesting when I think about it. It's like if you guys had listened to half of what he wanted, you wouldn't be going through the bullshit, and you wouldn't be getting fired, and you wouldn't have to defend your fucking selves. Okay? I'm just telling you. So anyway, all right. So we got all that. Spielberg declines to direct Indy 5, and I don't. Here's the deal. I don't think Harrison Ford would be happy giving his fedora to a woman. I might be wrong. I don't know him, but just seeing what Mangold has said, and I think he understands why people are a little bit leery. I don't think we're getting that. I'm, and if she thought she could do that, I'm pretty sure Frank, who's the brains in that couple, was like, "You can't do this. We can't do this. They will kill us. You can't do this." And he'd be right. Anyway, let's go further. So we get out of Indy 5. Like I said, they're filming now in Glasgow. I think Harrison's up there. I saw a picture of him with some lady, and it was supposed to be in Glasgow. So Mangold's up there. He's up there. They're filming. They're filming. So the person who started the Twitter war with Mangold is wrong, and he made an ass of himself. But hey, whatever. Let's go further. So apparently, and I kind of believe this, and this is something I do believe because, first off, it's the right thing to do. Second of all, it puts the ball in Gina's corner. Okay, they are going, trying to get her in the offices to basically sit down and talk to them about coming back and playing Cara Dune. Now, if she shows up, they offer her the stuff, she listens, walks away, thinks about it for a few days, comes back and says, no, I'm done with her. Fucking done with her. Again, what is my rule? I had no fucking idea who she was till Cara Dune showed up. Nobody did. Okay, I don't watch UFC or MMA fighting. I think it's stupid. Okay, I mean, well, I don't think it's stupid. I just don't watch it. Okay, let's go further. So there's that. So, and I believe that that is going on. Then we've got, and this is really not a rumor, but no, I'll wait on that one. Then we get to the actual, and this is like the 5th time that Doomcock has heard it from a different source, that there's going to be like an Elseworlds place where the sequel trilogy and Solo, which made me leap off the sofa, scared the hell out of the dog, are going to be put in a different, basically, timeline, never to be looked at again. If this is true, this confirms what I thought, is that they're going back and retconning Han and basically giving back his masculinity. Here are your balls, take them, go. I think it is true. Shakes. I really do. Welcome to the channel, by the way. I really, really do. I mean, they know how bad Solo was. I mean, you can't tell me. Well, I know what Drunk 3PO says, and what she says to him and what is going on in her business are two different things. And to be honest, I kind of look at that as being kind of exploitative. Hey, Senator Dave, and I'm kind of getting sick of him, to be honest. And I like Jay, but, he doesn't know how this business goes. And I'm going to tell you something. Making friends with him was a mistake. Okay, I've said this before, I'll say this again. If you are a star and you befriend a fan with a YouTube channel or a fan club, you are fucking yourself, okay? Because that fan, and we're seeing it right now, is taking ownership of you, okay? No good can come of this. And like I said before, Just Nova, and I want you to hear me very closely, I don't think she's telling him anything about Star Wars. He can sit there and bullshit his way through this all he wants. And he can come on here and tell me about it. I'm going to say she didn't tell you anything. She's not going to tell you anything. All right? She can't. It looks to me like she says stuff to him and he makes it out to be what he wants it to. Because, again, there is a contingent of fans from a certain YouTube channel that don't give a fuck about Star Wars and they want to see it all burn down. Okay? And I think he's probably one of them. All right? They're black-pilled, they're negative, they hate everything. Okay? And she could be under an NDA. And also because she might be negotiating. Who knows how old that rumor is that Doomcock reported? It could be weeks old. We don't know. Well, I like Jay, but there's a certain point where it's like, will you stop it? You know, just, if you're into charity and stuff like that, don't brag about it. That's not what people do. You know, but hey, you know what? Like I said before, and I want you to listen, Just Nova. If they go to her, offer her back a role, and she says, no, I'm done with her, she can take a flying leap. Most of us didn't know who the fuck she was. You might have. I didn't. I didn't. All right? This is about saving Star Wars, not about a marginal character that appeared suddenly in the last 2 years. All right? And, she's not the franchise. Franchises at the end of season 2 on Mando, right? Right? We saw that. Is she Luke Skywalker? Is she Mark Hamill? No. Okay, so that's the thing we have to remember. And I wish her fans, because there's a lot of people out there. There's a fan page called We Love Cara Dune. And I basically said to Elizabeth Kueller, she doesn't come back, I'm done. I don't fucking care. I'm done. She's like, yeah, but it's like, no, I am a Star Wars fan first. All right? I am a Star Wars fan first. Second of all, that character was created for her by Jon Favreau. All right? And he's got a lot more power in Hollywood than she does. And if she says no to him, she deserves to be relegated to the conservative ghetto. Okay. The biggest mistake I think she made was talking to Ben Shapiro about a contract. Being interviewed is one thing. Making a movie with him, and the reason why is because I know his pedigree. I came from the same place. It's just like somebody said to me the other day, I really wish you could interview Harrison Ford. And I go, I wouldn't have him on my channel. They're like, why? And I go, because I have a reputation of being an asshole. Okay? Not being leftist. Okay? Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right, Shakespeare. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I would love to be able to interview him. But, I mean, look at the way I talk. Look at what I've said. I mean, I'm a known Trump supporter. Well, his handlers would say, absolutely do not go on there. Okay? Absolutely. And I wouldn't blame him. Okay? He doesn't need people shooting at him from the left. And they would definitely try to cancel him. Okay? Now, if her character isn't marginalized, all right? Everybody loves Cara Dune. I don't even know what you're talking about right now, Just Nova. To me, she played a character that Ronda Rousey could have played, or some other former MMA fighter. The character does not, Star Wars doesn't live or die by Cara Dune. Okay? Doesn't. And this stuff needs to be put in a spot where it's not really getting in the way of good Star Wars. Okay? And there are enough people on that We Love Cara Dune Facebook page that won't come back unless she comes back. And I basically accused them, you're not Star Wars fans. You're not. And they're not. I mean, I'm not a huge Luke Skywalker fan. But even I got the feels at the end of season 2. All right? That was something that needed to happen. Just like seeing Han Solo show up in Boba Fett or in Andor or whatever, okay? And there's a story out there about season 2 of Boba Fett, and I'm going to check that out. I have to go check that out. Maybe I'll do a video later. But let's go further. So we've got Gina. Hopefully, she better say yes to them, because that would be a shitty thing to do to John. he's a really cool, nice guy. I mean, he's a stand-up dude. Okay, he's got the respect of all of the right people. All right, so you listen to him, and yeah, well, it's not, and before anybody starts accusing me of being anti Gina Carano, I'm not. All right, I was pissed. I woke up at 2 a.m. and got rid of my Disney subscription. Okay, because of what they did, and but I'm not going to put her on a pedestal. I mean, she's not Carrie Fisher, for crying out loud. She's not Harrison Ford, never will be. And she's not Mark Hamill. She's not Billy D. Williams. There are cornerstones of this franchise. And if she doesn't come back and you're blaming you're blaming Disney, even if Gina knows Hidalgo's gone, all of the SJWs are gone, and John and Dave basically are running the joint. Well, Shakespeare, that might be true, but my opinion is there's a way of at least doing something right for the characters. And I'm going to tell you something, because I'm a good Catholic girl, and I believe heaven, hell, and purgatory. Carrie knows. Carrie's watching. She knows. She's up in Hollywood Valhalla, hanging out and watching all this shit going down, and she knows. All right, so I don't worry about that. They'll fix it. They can do this. But anyway, then we get to something to this part, and we all knew this was going to happen. I mean, but a major thing with the EU, with Thrawn, and oh yeah, I know Shakespeare, with Thrawn is being talked about, but caveat, we all knew that was coming because Ahsoka said so. All right, where is Grand Admiral Thrawn? He's out there somewhere. So I think they're going to bring back a flavor of Heir to the Empire, which is what I think all this multiverse stuff is or this all this storytelling is going to be about, with the different shows. And here's the thing: if the sequel trilogy and Solo are being relegated to the trash compactor, I think we're not going to see any different version of Ben Solo or Rey or anything like that, because Palpatine is dead. Okay, he's dead. All right, and they could either ignore it and then just say this is an alternate timeline and this could have happened, which is what Doomcock kind of referred to it as. They could use the Veil of the Force, which is the Ahsoka poster, or they could just ignore it, which is also a possibility. Now, the other thing that's going into the trash compactor, and Doomcock said the High Republic, and if that's the case, guess what else is going into the trash compactor? Can we guess? Can we guess? Can we guess? Come on, I want to see some guesses. Come on, chat. No one wants to say anything. The Acolyte. Because the Acolyte is part of the High Republic. No, it's not. They're not going to do that. That would be stupid. It's just going to go on and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Solo twins. No Rey, because Palpatine's dead. No clones of Palpatine. But I wouldn't doubt we'd see Jaina, Jason, Anakin, some version of Mara Jade. I think with George involved, I don't think we're going to get a married Luke. Sorry, guys. But he didn't like that. No matter what the EU crazies want to think, I don't like that. What the? I don't even know what you're talking about. Just sit back and listen and don't crap in the chat, okay? I mean, we could see all kinds of really cool things. Talon Card. I mean, there's a rumor not too long ago that they were actually talking to Robert Downey Jr. about playing somebody, and the rumor was Grand Admiral Thrawn. He'd be a good Talon Card. But there are a lot of actors out there that could play Talon Card. It's going to be very interesting. But, well, look, and I'm going to say this, Shakespeare. Kennedy, I mean, he might. I mean, I would, people seem to like the character. I'd make him canon. He's cooler than Kanan Jarrus. Sorry, Dave Filoni, but Kanan Jarrus sucks ass. Okay, he sucks ass. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Shit. It's just gonna be very interesting to see where they go. And this is sort of okay, this is where I was going. So, when Kennedy said they didn't have any books or anything like that, and they had to rebuild everything from scratch, she had no idea about the EU. I guarantee you, she had no idea. Or she was lying. So you've got a guy who can write the word the, J.J. Abrams, and let's just blow it all up, Just Nova. You can go back to Jay, okay? You can go back to Geeks and Gamers. Because they don't give a shit anymore, okay? Do I think the twin? Of course I fucking think the fucking twins could do this. They already were. The fans loved them. I would change some things. I wouldn't have Jason Solo go to the dark side. You could have an adventure where they actually find Mortis. Maybe take on the Aboleth. I don't know. But I think they really got to map out the time after Return of the Jedi. All right. And I really honestly think that the cameo, we're going to get, I mean, Han Solo cameo and Boba Fett or Mandalorian or Andor, which would be a very young Han Solo. Yeah, and Dave, honestly, I think they do have a plan. See, when you've got a has-been like Larry Kasdan who doesn't give a shit about, what he's doing anymore, and you've got a hack like J.J. Abrams writing together a movie, you're not going to get a very good movie. You're not going to get a story. You're going to get a dumpster fire. And though TFA made a lot of money and they thought they'd really hit the jackpot, that movie doesn't have any staying power. That movie wasn't what it should have been. You had the big three on there, and it was handled badly. Robert Meyer Burnett out there says, why the fuck did they do that to Han? He would, I mean, not in that way like I did, but, what they did to Han and Leia was wrong, all right? What they did to Luke was wrong. They had no idea those characters, I mean, how can you be Larry Kasdan and not understand that the characters meant that much to the fans? How? I don't know. But nobody stood up and said, This isn't a good idea. It really isn't. You know, focusing on these new characters that were poorly written, this new cast, which, Adam Driver is so goddamn ugly. I mean, he really is not an attractive guy. I don't give a flying fuck what anyone thinks. But 50 years ago, 60 years ago, if he'd have tried to show up in Hollywood for leading man stuff, they'd have laughed him off the Paramount lot. Okay. He's a face for radio. Okay. Now, weird looking, pale, pretentious dickwads are all the rage. I mean, look at Robert Pattinson. All right. And, for some reason, there's a contingent of females who, I'm going to say, have never had sex before, who think he's like the bee's knees. I don't know why, because back then, oh, no, and I'm pro-life, but he should have been, Han and Leia should have just tried to, Han and Leia should have tried to start all over again, or should have had more kids. And that's another thing. Being told by people at Lucasfilm that, well, it's very normal for people to just have one kid. Yeah, no. Most families have more than one. Why? Because if you're a single child family, the kid grows up thinking they're the bee's fucking knees. Trust me, I have one in my own family. Okay? It's like, so what do I think is going to be the end game with all this? Well, we just got to see. I honestly think there's likely going to be an announcement. Don't be surprised if you see sooner than later High Republic stuff end up at Ollie's. I'm keeping an eye out. In fact, tomorrow I'll drive back over there, do my weekly walk around the stores, and see what is to be seen. Because you always got to keep your eyes open. It's one of these things where you're like, there's many different ways they can do this, and many different ways they can save Star Wars. If you are an EU purist, you're not going to like my plan. Oh, I know, but see, Troy, that's what they want. I'm the youngest of 9 kids. I've got a good friend who's got 13 kids, 12 boys and 1 girl. Okay, try being the only girl in a family of boys. I had 4 brothers, and there were 5 of us girls. Big families or families with more than 1 kid are a little more, I think, durable. The kids are more durable. Your family kind of socializes you if you've got more than 1. And I'll tell you something, single kid families, the spoilage factor is huge. I know because I have one in my family. And the chances of somebody going wrong are huge. Kids tend to, having that many kids and having to juggle that many little personalities tends to help a person kind of grow up too. My mom and dad, there were 9 of us, and at one time there's 6 in the house or 7 in the house. And when I was a little kid, there was me, like a 4 or 5-year-old. There was me, my sister Chris, my sister Joan, my brother Jim, and my brother Dan. There were 5. And the boys had to share a room, and all the girls had to share a room. And then Dan went to college, he left. Chris moved out. Jimmy got a room to himself, and I had to share with Joan. And then Jimmy moved out eventually after I graduated from high school. Then Joan moved out, and I was in the house from the age of by myself from the age of about 10 until the day I moved out. So I went from being the youngest and surrounded by a bunch of people all the time to, you know, kind of being able to develop my own sense of right and wrong and getting to know my parents on a different level than everybody else did. And so I had the best of both worlds, but I still had that big family there that really kind of helped me in a lot of situations. And it's always good to have a big brother show up if you're being bullied and just kind of walk up behind you because when the bullies scatter and teach you how to punch, throw punches and tackle and things like that. But I was a tomboy and I wanted to learn how to do that. You know, pulling hair just doesn't do it for me. Throw a good right, a right, you know, that takes care of a guy's problems real quick, especially when you're in grade school. And, you know, most of the time girls, they get into fights with boys at that point can pretty much, you know, get into it. I mean, and it's a pretty fair fight, all right? I got into a few, lost a few, won a few against the boys. And then when I got in high school, that wasn't going to happen anymore. But I kind of had my own posse of guy friends. In fact, captain of our football team, and I was the biggest nerdlinger in that frickin' school. And captain of our football team and I were friends. And he would not tolerate bullshit. It was pretty funny watching, and this kid was a juvenile delinquent. We were in the art class. It was the last day of our senior year. I was dropping off a project, and my best friend, who eventually married my brother, she was dropping off hers, and this kid named Wade walks in. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you gotta let him do that. And he starts giving me shit. I mean, you know, I was a kid that was easily picked on the first couple years in high school, and then I was one of those late bloomers, and it was hysterical how everybody went when I walked in for junior year, and then over the course of the year you change more, and pretty soon, you know, I was the skinniest girl in high school by design. I was anorexic, but Wade thought it was okay. He didn't realize that Joe, uh, Joe and I were friends, and Joe walks in behind him and listens to this shit. And I basically was telling Wade, I go, you know what? Fuck off. School's done. You can kiss my tight white German ass. You know, whatever I said. I called him a Maxim Zoom Dweezy and Dweeby, and told him he was a big fucking loser and all the rest of that shit. And like Linda and I were about to tackle him together. Joe walks in and slams him up against the wall and got about this close from his face. And that kid, I swear to God, peed his pants. All right. And I was like, thank you. I mean, it was awesome. Yeah, and Joe and I are still friends, But, big families are important. When I have some, and they're, the people that were saying, let's say, Pablo Hidalgo, probably from a single family. Kristen Hidalgo, single family. And others, single kid family. And giving me shit about that. And I was like, no, that's not the usual. Two, three, or four kids per family is usually what you get. What is it, 2.5 kids per family? So at least have a sister or a brother or something, but they didn't. And the reason why is because they wanted to get rid of the OT characters. And instead of doing it the right way, letting them have their dignity, they shit all over them. And they wondered then why the fans are so pissed off. But here's the deal. All the trolling, all the bullshit, and all the bullying that we went through has earned them karmic retribution on a scale that Adolf Hitler would be envious of. Everything they worked for, and I'm going to say this is a theory. I know Doomcock mentioned High Republic, and that means the Acolytes not going to be made. Everything they worked on, the comics, the novels, Chuck Wendig's garbage, Jason Fry's garbage, Claudia Gray's shit, Daniel Jose Older's shit is all going to the extended whatever, what if timeline, never to be looked at again. So they get to do everything over the right way. And I love it. I love it. And you know, this is here's the deal. They earned all of this. They earned every fucking bit of it. Okay? They really did. So if it's true, I don't know, but it's always like Doomcock says something and it always precedes something big, some sort of big announcement. And I haven't gone to look and to see what Hidalgo's been saying on his, but he's probably still going through his shelf thing, talking to people. And what's really weird, again, nobody that is really, except for Strozik, nobody that was part of the bullying club that he had is talking to him. Hey, Krypton is talking to him on that, unless I'm wrong, because I can't look at his who he's following. But I am going to say this. The fact that he was following Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel and isn't anymore says a lot. Yeah, it's yeah, and you know, I don't know how they're going to announce this, but we have to understand that it's going to be very subtle. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what he said. It might be a move to a different timeline. And maybe they just got the Ahsoka thing in there just in case. Okay? But I also like the fact that he said we're going to see a lot of OT characters. Leia, Han, Luke again, etc., etc. We're going to see a lot of these guys. And that makes me happy. I mean, I will try to figure out how to do a reaction video if they show Han and Leia show up somewhere. And I would have them together. Be really funny is they're on the run from Thrawn, and Dark Jedi wants Leia and the kids, and she's pregnant, and everyone's looking at her, and without saying it, we all realize she's carrying the twins. You know? I mean, that would be fucking mind-blowing, you know? Because I really think, and I'm going to say this, if you were going to do a franchise movie, and you needed Luke and Han in there, and you're not going to have Leia unless they do. Do I? What I think they need to do is, first off, take the numbers off the sequels. All right. Mazer said that, and I think that would be a good idea. Second of all, they're going to have to do a new third trilogy if they do that. And what I would do, because I've heard the stories about Lucas's ideas, and I would incorporate some of it, but, you know, if you look at anything that he's done, he always changing his mind on stuff. So he could take his idea and then change different parts of it to fit what you were doing before. So the story is seamless into the next three. And what I would do is I would just have, you know, either I'd have a deep faked Leia, or I would have her sadly passed, and I would have Han and Luke giving a soft handoff to the kids. All right, Just Nova, what do you mean, changed your mind? I don't understand that. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything from her. I mean, she's, she could do it. Of course, I think part of it is I can't replace my mother, but I haven't heard anything official, so from her or anybody else. And there are people that look like enough like Carrie, you can deep fake it. I mean, so you just find a girl who's real small, tiny, and you go with it. You know, this is going to be very interesting going forward. Very interesting. They're already retconning Aftermath in Bad Batch. There's a little bit of foreshadowing in there, I think. They retconned Aftermath with The Mandalorian. She did play Leia. She did. She actually did play Leia. And then they used footage of Carrie. Yeah, I think you're right, Angelique. So, if they wanted to have Leia be part of it, then, leader of the New Republic. But I kind of think, instead of giving them a struggle, giving them like the mentor seat, where, you've got one of the kids showing up, Dad, I need help, and blah, 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 or Uncle Luke, or, Master Skywalker, whatever. And, I see it, I envision one thing at the end of in the third trilogy, Han and Luke sitting on a bench watching all the stuff going on. And then Han looking at Luke going, think they need our help? And Luke going, aren't we a little old to be getting in on this? And Han's like, how about it, kid? One more for the hell of it. And then coming in and basically saving the day or something like that, or helping to save the day. I think that would be really neat. So I'm pretty, yeah, it's, all we really need is an official word. Okay, I've got all kinds of celebration plans. The moment it happens, I've got a restaurant I'm going to go and get very specific food. I've got a store that sells caviar. I'm going to make all kinds of celebration food. And I got a nice big bottle of goddamn expensive champagne. I think because they want to see Luke no matter what. Yeah, Troy, that's actually a good line. Yeah. So anyway, guys, before I leave, I just added, I think her brother does, C-Man. I just added on the community page my latest. It's called Fate of the Alliance, and it's the prologue. So you guys, none of the principals are in it. It's just a bunch of generals having it out about something that happened that Han and Luke facilitated, and they're having an argument about what it means and all the rest of this stuff. So if you want, go read it, have fun. I love doing it, of course, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm gonna add chapter 1, which was a fun kind of exposition between Han and Mon Mothma, and then a little bit of banter with Han and Leia, and then we'll get right into it. And a very short chapter about Luke, and then we go from there. And there's one chapter I've got to work on, and I want to make it really, really dark. Okay, I really do. I want to make this chapter really, really dark because I believe that Star Wars should have a bit of that amorality and darkness, and we're on again on Nar Shaddaa, and there should be a little bit of that wide earp, knife edge of morality kind of thing going on, Western feel and a bit dark. Okay, and we meet a bunch of other people there too, and I think you guys will love it. But please go and check it out. Tell me what you think. I had a lot of fun writing that. I absolutely love writing General Riken. I think he's just absolutely, he's a cool character to work with. Anyway, I'll see you guys around the galaxy. Have fun. I've got to make some food for my husband. It is 4:17 and meatballs wait for no one. So I'll talk to y'all later. See you around the galaxy.